Hi, welcome back. Today we're making a hacky sack. This hacky sack is going to require some fabric. You can use just a basic scrap piece of cotton fabric. You will also need some poly pellets. These little poly pellets are a good substitute for like rice or beans that would typically be in something like this, so that it can be washable without any issues of it absorbing water. So these are just little plastic pellets. They're kind of like little plastic beads, only there's no holes through them. And then you're also going to need the yarn. For this particular project, I found that anywhere from a 2 to 3 ply yarn worked really well. I'm specifically using cotton today. So that's the materials you'll need, and then you'll also need your scissors, your yarn needle, and your crochet hook. The crochet hook that I used for this project is a size F, which translates to 3.75 mm. So those are the tools that you will need and the materials. Another item that would make it easier is if you have a round item that measures approximately 4 inches across. That will make it so much easier for cutting the template for the liner on the inside of the hacky sack. So let's go ahead and get started. First, you're going to take your scrap of fabric, fold it in half so that you'll be able to cut 2 identical pieces, and then take your circle template, set it on top, grab a pen, and you can use whatever color pen you want. It's not going to be seen. This whole piece of fabric is just going to be hiding on the inside of the hacky sack, holding those poly pellets in place so that if you wanted to wash it, they're not falling out. It'll also make it so that as they're getting bumped around, the little poly pellets stay in the hacky sack. So, alright, so we've got our circle drawn on there. Just a reminder, we are cutting 2 layers of fabric. So make sure that those are put together. Grab your scissors, or if you have a cutting circle, go ahead and grab one of those. I'm finding scissors seems to work best for this project, just because then you can pick it up and move it around however you need to. There. And it doesn't have to be done perfectly for this project. If you have a little bit of a snag along any of this, it's not going to be seen. It's just going to be there. So there is our fabric liner. And then we're going to go ahead and move over to the sewing machine. And we're going to start on one little spot here, and then sew all the way around, leaving about 1.5 inches to 2 inches open so that we can add those poly pellets still. On our sewing machine, we're going to have this doing just a regular straight stitch. And we're going to have it all the way to the right side, our needle there. Instead of being centered, we're going to put it to the right side just so that we have a little bit more space within the beanbag itself. So let's go ahead and put our foot down, and then we'll go ahead and start sewing. Make sure to go back and forth a couple times to get that string secured, and then you can go all the way around, leaving that 1.5 to 2 inch gap. Now we're going to go ahead and fill the hacky sack. So go ahead and take a little kitchen funnel if you have one, and tuck it into the liner there. And then take your poly beads or poly pellets, and I found that it was really helpful to put them in a cup or a bowl so that I'm not fighting with the bag that they came in. So go ahead and take that, and you're just going to dump some in your funnel. And it should be approximately all the way full for it to weigh the right amount. If you have a kitchen scale, you can actually weigh it more accurately. I believe standard is anywhere from 45 grams to 60 grams. So we're going to go ahead and just see if we're close there. We should be. All right. So we're going to set that on our scale. Make it sit. We're actually a little bit over right now, so it's showing 56 grams. I'm just going to dump a little bit out. Now we're looking at 52, 48, 46 grams. I'm going to call that good. And now we're going to go ahead and take this back to the sewing machine after we pin it here. So I like to pin mine just so that it keeps those poly pellets from getting too close to where I'm actually working, because if those poly pellets get in the way, it makes it so much harder to sew that gap shut. So there's one pin and then a second pin just a little bit further over, making sure that all of the poly pellets are towards the bottom of the beanbag there. So now that we're back at the sewing machine, we're going to go ahead and move our needle all the way to the left side so that we can get as close to these pins as possible without having it further under the foot, because with the pins and the poly pellets, it actually makes it really hard to get that close enough to our stitches. So go ahead and put the foot down and make sure to go back and forth a couple times on your beginning and end to have that thread kind of interlock over itself. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take the pins out. And you can see that it's not a super exact science on how you close up that gap. As long as it's closed all the way and these poly pellets won't be sneaking out any little holes, we should be good. And that is the liner and beads for the inside of the hacky sack. Now we get to move on to crocheting the outside portion. So you're going to start with a magic ring. If you don't know how to do a magic ring or a magic circle, there are loads of tutorials out there. There's actually one on my channel as well. And then we're going to go ahead and put 6 single crochets into this magic ring. Then you're going to go ahead and cinch that down. What I like to do when I am working with a magic ring is I will actually carry this tail along with the stitches in my next row or two, just so that it helps hold that nice and tight. So we're going to slip stitch in the first single crochet from this round, and then chain 1. And that is the very first round. Now we're going to go ahead and do round 2. Round 2 is made up of single crochet increases all the way around. So we're just going to put 2 single crochets in each of our stitches. So there's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12. So there we have our 12 single crochets. And go ahead and slip stitch to the first one, and then chain up 1. So round 3, we're going to be doing a single crochet by itself, and then a single crochet increase, and then doing that all the way around. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm actually going to go ahead and just tuck that tail back there now because it'll be on the inside of the project. 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16, 17, and 18. Go ahead and slip stitch to the beginning of that round, chain up 1, and now we're on to round 4. So round 4, you do a single crochet, and then a single crochet increase all the way around. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Slip stitch to the beginning, chain up 1, and now we're going to start round 5. Round 5, we're putting a single crochet, another single crochet, another single crochet, and then our single crochet increase. So that's going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Slip stitch to the beginning, chain up 1. That's the end of round 5. Now we're on to round 6. Round 6 is a single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, followed by a single crochet increase. So that's 4 individual single crochets and then our increase. So it's going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. Slip stitch to the beginning. And that's the end of round 6. So round 6 is the last increasing row. We're then going to be placing 1 single crochet in each round, or in each stitch in this round. And that's going to be through round 14. So that's rounds 7 through 14 are all just 1 single crochet in each stitch. Then at the end of each round, you slip stitch to the first stitch, chain up 1, and do the next round. Once you get done with round 14, then we will start decreasing. Okay, so if we look here, we now have our 14 rounds. You can double check that by counting these rings. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 rounds, and those were all just one single crochet into each stitch for each of the rounds of 7 through 14. And now we're going to start our decreasing rounds. So for our decreasing rounds, we're going to chain up 1 just like normal, and then we still have our 36 stitches around. So to decrease for that, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for our 5th stitch. We're going to do that all the way around. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, decrease for 30. Go ahead and slip stitch to the beginning of that round and chain up 1. So that was round 15. We are now on round 16. For round 16, we're going to be doing 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. So 1, 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, decrease for 20, and 21, 22, 23, decrease for 24. Go ahead and slip stitch. And that's the end of round 16. Now we're going to start round 17. So go ahead and chain up 1. For round 17, we're going to be doing 1, 2, decrease for 3. All the way around. So 1, 2, decrease for 3, 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, 8, decrease for 9, 10, 11, decrease for 12, and then before we finish this round, we're going to go ahead and take our little bean bag that we made earlier for the inside of the hacky sack. We're going to go ahead and tuck that in so that the space to tuck it into doesn't get too small before we get that added in there. You don't want to add it too early because then it makes it kind of hard to finish crocheting, but you don't want to add it too late because then you won't be able to get it in there. So, alright, so we were on stitch 12, 13, 14, decrease for 15, 16, 17, decrease for 18. So that's the end of round 17, I believe. And then we're going to go ahead and chain up 1, starting round 18. For round 18, we're going to do a single crochet and then a decrease all the way around. 1, decrease for 2, 3, decrease for stitch 4, 5, decrease for 6, now we're on stitch 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, decrease for 12. Side note, if you run into some pain when you're crocheting, I've heard that having your hands warm, it'll actually make it so that you do less damage to your hands over time, but it'll also make it less painful when you're actually actively crocheting. So. Alright, so there's the end of that round, and then we're on our very last round here. We're going to do decreases all around. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the beginning of that round. There's that. We're going to take our scissors and trim probably about 8 or so inches from the project and pull that through. So that's essentially your hacky sack right there. We just need to take our needle and we are going to weave this end in, making sure to cinch up those last 6 stitches. So when you're cinching these up, usually what I prefer to do is you start from the center going outwards and only go through the outside of that stitch. I don't know if you can see that very well, but basically you're going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So go ahead and cinch that up, and then I like to tie it down kind of like if I were doing a regular sewing project. Keep that little loop open to weave that through again 1 or 2 more times, and then pull that tight. And then for hiding this tail, with a stuffed project, usually I just run it straight through, but with the beanbag project, because we have that sewn in liner, I'm not going to try and weave that all the way through like that. What I like to do is I kind of find a stitch to hide in through, and then I'll find somewhere along the edge so that I don't have to go through the actual beans part. I'll bring it out through here and then go back into that same hole and do the same thing to get it to that other side. Pull it through, and that's the end of your project. If you have any questions about this tutorial, or if you have any ideas for tutorials you'd like me to go over in the future, feel free to comment below. Thanks for watching.